Okay, if we want to know what this thing looks like, we're going to need to have to factor it. So let's factor the numerator. Let's pull out a 4. What are we left with? We're left with x squared minus 1 half x, which is weird. But really that would be a bad way to factor that, and what we should do is we should pull out a 4x right from the beginning. So pull out a 4x, what's left in the first term? X minus what's left in the second term, 1 half. That looks better. Check yourself, does it work? Negative 1 half times 4x is negative 2x, and x times 4x is 4x squared. So that's our numerator. Denominator we will factor as a normal quadratic. It will factor as x plus 4 times x plus 1, because 1 times 4 is 4, and 1 plus 4 is 5. So now we can sketch this thing pretty quickly. No holes or anything, so it'll be very straightforward. X-intercept at positive 1 half, so right there. Also an x-intercept at 0 from that 4x pulled out front. So two x-intercepts there, they both cross. Vertical asymptote at negative 4, so 1, 2, 3, 4. So dash that in. Trying to keep my scale decently similar. And x plus 1 gives me a vertical asymptote at negative 1 right there. This is a quadratic over quadratic, so the degrees are the same, which means my horizontal asymptote will be at whatever my coefficient is, and my coefficient is at 4. So let's go 1, 2, 3, 4, and dash in our horizontal asymptote, like that. Okay, now things I know that I can use to help me graph this. I see this area over here has no x-intercepts, but I do have a horizontal asymptote, which means I need to stay above that thing if I want to not cross the x-axis, so that bit has to be up there. If you then look at the asymptote there, which is being created by this factor x plus 4. The multiplicity of that factor is 1, which means since I'm up to the left of the asymptote, I have to start down to the right. But I do not have any x-intercepts between these two asymptotes, so my graph has to just kind of curve and go back down. All right, what happens next? Well, next I'm at the asymptote of negative 1, x equals negative 1, which is coming from this factor. That factor has a multiplicity of 1, an odd number, which means since the tail to the left is down, the tail to the right has to start up. So that has to be up there. I have to come down. I have to cross at that x-intercept. I have to turn and come back and cross that x-intercept again. So I'm going to turn and then kind of come up and approach that asymptote from the bottom side like that. So this graph should look something along these lines, and we're going to call that good.